In 1979, Atari released what is one of my, or maybe my absolute favorite sports games ever released for the Atari 2600, and that's bowling. Deceptively simple, terribly charming, it remains one of my favorites today. We're going to take a look at why right after this. This video supported in part by...
Playing VR, I tend to sweat. It gives me an edge, so King of Nerds happens to give me an edge too. Let King of Nerds give you the edge. Bye, King of Nerds.
Hey there, welcome back to Gen X Grown Up. I'm John, and I am a Gen X Grown Up. Thank you for taking the time to check out this video. The Atari 2600 was released in September of 1977, along with 9 launch titles. In 1978, another 11 were released, and that brought us up to 20. But in March of 1979, they released 8 more new cartridges, including miniature golf, casino, football, and ultimately, my favorite sports title, bowling. Now, this was written by Larry Kaplan, who would leave less than a year later to help form Activision, which we know the history there. But meanwhile, as he went out the door, he left a gem in the form of bowling. I love this game. Let's go give it a play. Here he is, my dear friend Bowling. What a fun game. Look, immediately, even the rudimentary nature of the Atari, you can tell right away what this is. It's a bowling game. I see a guy holding a ball. I see the alley. I see the 10 pins. Now, I haven't touched anything on the control deck yet, so upper left, you'll see a 1. That is the current game selected. Upper right is a 1 that's showing how many players in the current game. There are only 6 game options, and it's really 3 options, 1 player, 2 player, as you go through it. So if I were to hit game select, there's game 2 with 2 players, game 3 with 1 player, 4 with 2, 5 with 1, 6 with 2, you get the idea. And then if you hit start, then you have the, you're now playing the game and whichever scores you need. Now, if it's a 2-player game, in addition to the blue score on the left, you'd have a green score over there on the right to indicate a 2-player game as well. Now, while we're taking a tour of the screen, other things to observe. Of course, you have the alleyway here, which is, you know, it's kind of laid down flat for you, but it's the representative of the bowling alley that you're playing in. You have the 10 pins over on the right-hand side, and then you have your character, which I remember reading in several little articles about how this was recognized early on as like, wow, look, this is a full human character. And you can see he's still got the ball in front of him. He's like, and look, if you roll the ball, he even takes a few steps. He does what you would do in bowling. He steps out and he does what you expect a guy to do. And remember, this is a time 79 when everything was, you know, dots and spaceships and abstractions. And this is a person, a kind of. You can recognize it as a person. So the different variations of the game, there are 3. So the base one that I play all the time, typically the default one, you can put a little spin on your ball, but you pick when it takes effect. So maybe just throw the ball here. And at some point, I'll push up or down on the stick. I'll push up, and it starts to curve. Ooh, and I got a strike just accidentally. There's that delightful sound. Then if you go to game option 3, in this one, this is like a super easy version. So you can kind of, you can adjust up or down, you know, control the ball. Watch. So I can go down, up, down, up. I really have control. Hit another strike. And then finally, you have option 5, which is the third type of game. You have no control. So as I move up and down, the ball's going to go where the ball's going to go. You have no control over. That's really, that's the least interesting. And you know, I like to be able to put a little spin on it at the end. So at the start of any given game, start here, you start by positioning your bowler where you want to start. You can pick anywhere horizontally from left to right across the width of the aisle, the alley there. And then when you push the button, he's going to roll on his own. Just one tap, and off it goes. And then you can control when you start making an adjustment. Oh, another strike. Does that awesome sound. And as you play, in fact, I will tell you that the bowling manual for Atari is how I learned how to score bowling, right? So they spend most of the time saying, okay, here's how a strike works. You get the points for this ball and the next 2, and here's a spare. You get this thing and the next 1, and you get an open frame. Try that. There's another strike. So you can see beneath my score is the outline of how it's gone, how each frame has gone. So it's kind of in a 3x3 grid with 1 more on the bottom. So you see a strike, you see an open frame, and then a strike, and then this will be a spare. So he has a slightly lesser celebration. Just a little jump. I would love to be as happy as that little guy is when he gets a strike or a spare. He jumps up and down for joy. He flashes. I got to get that for like a text tone on my phone. That's awesome. Okay. But yeah, so there are also difficulty switches. Now, there's nothing visual you can see on it. The manual says on the A difficulty or advanced expert, it's a little bit harder to get strikes and spares. So I'm sure there's something in the math of when the pins hit each other or don't. So I always play on standard difficulty. I'm bad enough as it is on standard difficulty, but that's it. That's all there is to know about bowling. It's basically bowling that you already know, but delightfully simple and easy to play, and you don't got to put on somebody else's rented shoes. Now, I'm going to try to get the best score that I can. I'll do a quick run here. I typically score between like 150 and 180-ish. You know, I can't do perfect runs or anything, but before I do, look, it's coming up on the holidays. I want to remind you about our store over at GenXGrownUp.com/merch, where you can get cool designs, sure, for bowling or our logo or games or TV or movies or sports or pop culture, whatever you're interested in. Original designs by artists put on t-shirts and hats and mugs and pins. Looking for gifts in the holidays, it's a great place to at least check out. And every dollar you spend gets you that gift and helps to support Gen X Grown Up. So we really appreciate it. Okay, so let's move on to the run. Let's go to game one. So I have option one and one player. Hit start. Now my strategy, I usually try to line up my foot with I think it's the number 3 pin. So the bottom one of the 2 vertical in a row there. And then right before we get to the pins, I do a little swerve and just try to clip the first pin. So here's what I try to do. And a little curve there. There, we'll be able to pick up a spare. I also play this little game with myself where I try to not have to use any spin on the ball for spares. Like, can I line it up perfectly? And that's good practice. That's good practice for lining up your feet for the next run. So right about there is where I stand. This is certainly not the only strategy and the right way to play this game, but it's what works for me pretty well. All right, 19 points. I got that strike, that spare plus 1 ball. Boop, there's a second spare. All right, he's very happy. Let's see, come on, let's get a strike, can we? Curve. Yeah, got it. He's very excited. There we go. Come on, and a little curve. Ooh, all right, it's close. And pick up this spare, should be pretty easy. Is that lined up? Oh, yeah. Boop. I do appreciate how the pins actually move. They don't just disappear. That was something that I remember. It makes it feel more like actual pins there instead of just dots because of how they react with each other. There's almost some physics going on. I'm guessing at this point it was simulated physics, but it made it look cool to me. Boop, pick that one up. Great. All right. About halfway through. That's 5 frames. We're going into 6. And a little spin. Ooh, not quite. Now, when I have 2 like that, I'm going to try to, I will use a little bit of spin to make sure the ball is moving in the right direction because the first pin will impact it. So, oh, and it didn't quite get it. A little higher up. All right, so there's an open frame. That's all right. It's 105 now is where we're at. I think we should hit 150 or so. Ah, so close. You can see that ball roll right by that pin, like give it wind burn. Got it. Cool. 105. All right, come on. Do one more strike, shall we? Curve. Oh, not quite. Keep losing. What is that number? Is it 8 or 9? That's 8 pin, I think, right? All right. Spare. I think it has the same kind of rules as you're going to... Ooh. Oh, no. Left 3. Same kind of rules where if you get to the, it's standard score. If you get to the 10th frame, you get 2 more balls if you get a strike on the 10th one. All that stuff. There we go. Come on. Curve. Got it. Hit that first one diagonally shot out, got the other 2. All right. This is it. The 10th frame. Ooh. All right. I get 1 more ball, I guess, to pick up that spare. Boop, got it. He's very happy. Last ball. Let's close it out good. Oh, with 9. So that should be 160, 179. Oh yeah, because I had the pickup. That's bowling. And even though I just finished this game, I just want to push start again. That's all the time it takes to play the entire game. It's bowling. Can I get 300 points? No. How close can I get? 179? Great. If you have trouble, you try the option where you have lots of steering. If you're an expert, try the option where you have no steering. I think game number 1 or 2, two-player version of it, is really the purest version of this Atari bowling, and it's the one that I play every time I throw it in and hit start. And in fact, when I'm done with this video, I'm going to come back and play some more bowling. Now, as you can see, there's nothing very complicated or revolutionary about this Atari version of bowling. It's just pure and simple. It follows the real-world rules of bowling. The controls are easy to pick up, and because it's a short, instant game, 10 frames, you're done and move on. It's so easy to come back to time and again, and the celebratory sound of your little man when he gets a strike, it never gets old to me. I love this game, and I'm happy to have had a chance to share it with you. Look, I do a new episode of Friday Plays every week here on GenXGrownUp. If you have a game you'd like to see get this treatment, be sure to let me know about it down in the comments. In the meantime, I'll put previous entries over my shoulders here and here. Of course, I certainly hope you found something to enjoy in this video. I can't wait to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.